approach game time, it's fairly quiet on the Oakland front, but that figures to change in just a bit, courtesy of Raider Nation. Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez will be the focus. He looked almost superhuman in 3 straight wins to start the year, very human in 3 losses since. And today, Sanchez and the Jets will have to deal with the Raiders and those very vocal Raider fans who inhabit the black hole. Welcome to Oakland, California, everyone, as we get set to watch the New York Jets take on the Oakland Raiders. Hi, along with my Hall of Fame partner, Dan DIERDOFF, I'm Greg Gumbel. From day one of this season, Dan, the spotlight has been on quarterback Mark Sanchez, and here we are in week 7. The spotlight's still on the young quarterback.
Yeah, and it's getting a little warm under that spotlight. How could you get off to a better start than Sanchez did? And of course, the headlines reflected that. A love affair from day one with this quarterback from USC. But then the last 3 weeks, like any relationship, well, you can hit a rocky stretch every now and then, and that's exactly what's happened. But, you know, he's got a chance to really correct that this week. This is a huge game for Mark Sanchez.
Well, Sanchez and the Jets take on a Raider team that admittedly has struggled at 2-4 on the year, but no one doubts that these Raiders can play defense. They sure did a week ago.
No, and I'll give you Donovan McNabb's cell phone number if you'd like, Greg, because he was confused last week by this Raiders defense. They sacked him a half a dozen times. They threw many more blitzes at him than they normally do, and it is now a Raiders defense that's playing with some confidence. The question today, can they stop the Jets' running game?
Well, the Raiders will get their hands on the football first, and this game comes your way in high definition. Oakland has won the toss. They have elected to receive, and as we celebrate 50 years of the National Football League on CBS, it's 50 years since the AFL first came into existence, and you see both these teams in throwback uniforms once again. That's Jonathan Holland deep to receive the kick from Jay Feely. 3 more steps, and we're underway. This is Holland at his 7th. Penalty markers fly as he gets up to the 23-yard line. Our referee today is Gene Steratore.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 83. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So there's the Raider quarterback, Jamarcus Russell, the #1 pick overall back in 2007, struggling with just 2 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, but a big win under his belt against the Eagles last week.
And the defense deserves most of the credit for that win last week, but Russell, you know, for a quarterback, you look at it, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He did play better. Of course, anybody was better than the debacle the week before against the Giants.
So with a single back behind Jamarcus Russell, he's going to throw on first down. He doesn't get it away, and a penalty marker flies as he goes down at the 5.
And he loses the football as well.
The Jets say they have the ball.
Wow. What a beginning for the Raiders. A penalty on the opening kickoff return, and now a fumble by their quarterback.
Tripping, offense, number 69. Penalty is declined. First down, New York Jets.
Khalif Barnes guilty of the trip.
We'll take a look. This is Calvin Pace coming in from Russell's right side. He just doesn't have any awareness of him coming in. He's just locked in downfield. Marcus Douglas gets the football on the ground. That's coming in from his right. He should have some sense of the pressure coming from Calvin Pace. Oblivious.
That's an NFL lead nobody wants. Jamarcus Russell leading the league in 5 lost fumbles. Sanchez and the Jets inside the 5-yard line. Jones to the goal line and just short. Stopped at the 1. Tommy Kelly, number 93, in on the stop for the Raiders.
And this is, needless to say, a perfect way for a road team to get started. Your first possession deep in your opponent's territory after they make back-to-back mistakes. And the good news Tom Cable got earlier this week on the judicial front has dissipated quickly.
Thomas Jones again. And he won't reach the end zone this time. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, that's really a good job of stacking up the Jets' offensive line. They got no surge at all. Take a look at that. What an outstanding job of filling by Sam Williams, the reserve linebacker. Really nicely done.
We mentioned that Raider defense just 5 minutes ago. Jones and Richardson in the backfield. Sanchez. Jones again. And still no touchdown call.
Well, Thomas Jones had a 2nd and a 3rd effort. And he is short.
Well, Rex Ryan has no inclination whatsoever to send a field goal unit onto the field.
Well, and that is a defensive coach's mindset. He's not uncomfortable if by chance he had to turn it over to his defense, making the Raiders go 99.5 yards.
Half a yard for a touchdown. Jones, touchdown.
Well, that's also the confidence of a head coach who realizes he's got 4 #1 draft picks on his offensive line. They are one of the highest paid offensive lines in the NFL, and there comes a time where you got to earn your keep. And that's exactly what they did that time. Outstanding surge on the left side. DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, Alan Faneca. And Russell's mistake translates quickly into a touchdown for the other team.
Make sure we move it up.
Jay Feely with Kellen Clemens holding today. And the extra point is good. Thomas Jones, a franchise record 210 yards rushing last week on his 4th crack. Makes it a 7-0 Jets lead. At 24 years old, Jamarcus Russell, the 3rd youngest starting quarterback in the National Football League behind Matthew Stafford and Mark Sanchez. 11 turnovers this year, and his first of the day today, a costly one.
And that's on top of being pretty inaccurate throwing the ball as well. Not a winning combination for a quarterback.
Holland is deep again, and once again, Holland will pull this one in at the 4. Trying to turn the corner and can't do it. He doesn't make it back to the 20-yard line. He's out to about the 18, where Marquise Cole makes the stop, and here comes Russell.
You know, Greg, talking about Jamarcus Russell, and you saw the numbers, some of the raw data, but it's that sometimes being so unaware in the pocket of what's happening around him, and that is just a necessity for playing quarterback at any level, but particularly in the NFL where everyone is so ball hungry and trying to strip the football. You must have an awareness of the rush around you. You can't be afraid of it, but you've got to know where it's coming from.
On 1st down, Russell going to try it again. Out into the flat, and it's complete to the tight end, Zach Miller, as he crosses the 25 to about the 26-yard line. The Oakland offensive line, left to right, Henderson, Morris, Satelli, Carlisle, and Eric Pierce. 2 rookie wide receivers for Russell in Hayward Bay and Murphy, and the tight end, Zach Miller, the Raiders' leading receiver. That was his 22nd catch of the year. Good for 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. The give is to Bush, and he's stacked up at the 25-yard line. Let's check the Jets' 3-4 defense. It's missing big Chris Jenkins at nose tackle. He's gone for the season. Sione Bauha replaces him. The linebackers, Brian Thomas, Bart Scott, David Harris, Calvin Pace. And in the secondary, cornerback Lito Shepard will miss his 4th straight game with a quad injury. Dwight Lowery starts in his place. 3rd and 4. And this time Russell will go from the shotgun. On the quick slant, a little bit behind Louis Murphy, but Murphy got his hands on it, and I think should have held it there.
Well, let's take a good look at this. Jamarcus Russell trying to just nothing but a quick slant. And you're right, it would have been easier if it would have been more out in front of Louis Murphy, and it is behind him, but he got both palms on the football, which means you should catch it, but still not a good throw.
Shane Leckler, maybe the strongest right leg in the NFL, kicks it away at Jim Leonard. Leonard, fair catch called for and made at the 25-yard line. So when we come back, Mark Sanchez back on offense. The Jets with a 7-0 lead. On as beautiful a day as you could ask for here in the Bay Area. Welcome back, everyone. The Jets take over at their own 25-yard line, leading 7-0. Mark Sanchez under center. And will throw for the first time today. He eludes the rush, gets it away. And Thomas Jones out of the backfield will pick up a couple. Mark Sanchez coming off as bad a day as any quarterback would not want a week ago against the Buffalo Bills. 5 interceptions, no touchdowns. And as he said, trying to get his mojo back this week. Thomas Jones across the 30 to the 31-yard line. The line as usual for the Jets. Ferguson, Faneca, Mangold, Brandon Moore, and Damian Woody. Sanchez loses his leading receiver, Jericho Cotchery, to a hamstring injury for the second straight week. David Clowney, the second-year wideout from Virginia Tech, replaces him.
If I was trying to get my mojo back, the two things I would like would be a lead and a running game. Right now, Mark Sanchez and the Jets have both of them.
On 3rd and 4, Leon Washington is in the backfield. Short drop, quick pass, that's complete. And Clowney makes first down yardage.
And fumbles the
football forward.
And out of bounds.
So out across the 45, out to the 40 or so.
Yeah, nice effort by Clowney after the catch. Now here is a good throw from Sanchez, right on the hands, allows his receiver to turn upfield, but he breaks the tackle of Asamoah and gets the first down yardage. Keep in mind, that's one of the best corners in football, that he broke his tackle right there.
On first down, this is Leon Washington, and Washington squeezes through to about the 48-yard line. Let's check the Raiders' 4-3 defense. Richard Seymour fighting a flu bug 2 days ago at one end. Greg Ellis battling a sore knee at the other at linebacker. Morrison and Howard are there. John Alston replaces Ricky Brown again. Brown suffered an ankle injury 2 weeks ago. In the secondary, Mike Huff starts at safety for Hiram Eugene. And one of the best corners in the NFL, Nnamdi Asomugha, playing with a shield on his helmet to protect a scratched cornea. We have a Jet down. We'll take a timeout. 9:38 to play in the first. This is not the best news in the world for New York Jets fan Leon Washington with that right ankle encased in wrapping. This is what happened, Dan.
Well, watch his right foot on the ground right there, falling on it from behind. Tommy Kelly, number 93, and when he left the field, Leon Washington was not even close to wanting to put any weight on that whatsoever.
As soon as we get word, we'll let you know. Meanwhile, 2nd and 4 for the Jets from their own 48-yard line. Sanchez on the move, running out of time, and got rid of it to Jones.
That is just a huge gulp for the New York offense, watching Leon Washington go to the locker room for x-rays on the back of a cart. That is, whatever injury he has is significant. And keep in mind that Jericho Cotchery and Brad Smith are both inactive today, missing their second game in a row. But Leon just does everything for the Jets.
Came into the game today with 324 yards rushing, 131 yards receiving.
And also his role in the return game as well.
3rd and 4.
And running the Seminole.
This is Jones. Jones, penalty marker flies. Jones back to the line of scrimmage. And this is going to be a hold against the Jets. Tom Cable will decline it.
Offense number 89. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Gene Steratore said the penalty is on Jericho Cotchery, but we know that's not right.
No, that is not right, considering that he's inactive.
So Johnny Lee Higgins goes back to take the punt. Here's Steve Weatherford. Higgins, fair catch, and let it bounce. And it takes a jet bounce inside the 15-yard line, is down at about the 13. 8:43 to play here in the first quarter. Raiders back on offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. With the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
That's the MetLife blimp providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage this season. Meanwhile, the Raiders take over at their own 14-yard line as we await word from the New York Jets on the status of Leon Washington. Meanwhile, we would expect to see a little Shaun Green, the rookie running back. Russell from his 14. Going to give it to Michael Bush. And Bush out to about the 17. It's been a tough season early on for Jamarcus Russell, Dan.
Well, we talked earlier about pocket presence and ball security. That's against Houston. And then against the New York Giants, he put 3 of them on the ground, recovered by Big Blue. And then, as we've seen already today on their first possession, he's initially got, protection enough to look downfield, but he just never seems to have that proverbial head on a swivel where he feels the pressure, feels the rush. It's a necessity for a quarterback.
Play clock winding down on Russell. Just barely got the snap off. Under pressure, and throws complete to the near side. Gary Russell wrapped up at about the 16-yard line as the Jets converge.
And converge is a good use of words there, Greg. That's exactly what a Rex Ryan defense likes to do. Swarm to the football. A little misdirection. The Raiders set up a screen to the left and then came back and dumped it off to Russell. I hope that was by design. Or else Russell didn't go with the screen.
3rd and 7 for Russell and the Raiders, who have 4 total yards so far today. Going to the far side of the field, and that one is complete to about the 24-yard line to Todd Watkins, the second-year receiver out of BYU, and that's enough for a first down.
Man, how refreshing to watch a receiver run his route at exactly the right distance. That's a nice little stutter to the inside, but he runs it exactly 1 yard beyond the chains, the sticks, and moves them. Man, you get tired of watching some receivers run that same pattern and go out of bounds a yard short of the first down.
No one ran a pattern like you did, Dan.
Well, I have a great deal of experience. Thank you for mentioning that.
First down for the Raiders. Play action. Jamarcus Russell over the middle and right on the money to Darius Haywood-Bay, the speedster out of Maryland. And that's another Oakland first down.
Oh, that was outstanding pass protection by the Raider front against the Jets blitz. Right up the middle, there comes the crisscross. Bart Scott doesn't have anywhere to go. And Russell had plenty of time to set up, and he delivers a strike. And Haywood-Bay, that is only his 3rd reception of the season, if you can imagine that.
That's a 24-yard pickup.
3 total.
This is Bush. And Bush just across midfield. Darius Haywood-Bay. You're right, Dan. You're looking to get a lot more production out of a guy who was your first-round draft choice.
He was only 7th. He was the 7th overall in the draft, and he's really been overshadowed by Lewis Murphy, another rookie who was a 4th rounder out of Florida. Now, part of the problem is that Jamarcus Russell is a much better quarterback between the numbers than he is outside the numbers to the sideline. And as a group, the wide receiver core of the Raiders has suffered for him.
2nd and 8.
Look out.
Under pressure. He throws intercepted. Picked off by Jim Leonard to the 20, to 10, and knocked out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Russell's 7th interception of the year, and this one was right to number 36.
Well, he turns around and sees a New York Jet right in his face, and when faced with that situation, panicked and just threw the football to no one. David Harris coming right at him, unblocked, and where Jamarcus Russell is thinking of going with this ball, I have no idea. There was not a Raider anywhere nearby.
So Russell with 2 turnovers, a fumble, and an interception, and the Jets set up shop, 1st and goal just inside the 5-yard line. Thomas Jones to about the 3.
Well, when you play the Jets and Rex Ryan in particular, you're going to be faced with situations like that as a quarterback. You are going to see overloads. You are going to have unblocked people coming at you, and you've got to have a plan in mind what to do in that situation. And it didn't look to me like Jamarcus Russell in that situation had a plan.
Sanchez going to go from the shotgun. Going to pull it down on the quarterback draw. He scores. Sanchez, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season in front of friends and family here in Oakland. 60 plus watching.
And he pulls a Tony Gonzalez and puts it over. But did you see where he was carrying the football when he went across the goal line? Mark, put it away. This is a draw all the way, but put that ball away. He's got it hanging down there dangerously low again.
Jay Feely once again out of the hold of Kellen Clemens. And it's good. 2 Raider turnovers. The Jets turn them into 2 touchdowns. Not only does Sanchez score the touchdown, he gets the slam dunk. 14-0 Jets. Hey, watch Fantasy Football Today to get the last-minute news and analysis you need to set your fantasy league lineup live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, only on CBSSports.com. Well, there's one way to quiet the hometown fans, and that's to fall behind early, and that's just what's happened to the Raiders. And this kid, Jonathan Holland, will not return from the end zone. Let's go back to Mark Sanchez and his touchdown run.
Well, a nice call to start with by Brian Schottenheimer, going to the quarterback draw. But again, Mark Sanchez carrying that ball away from his body. And I know he doesn't see anyone near him. And again, though, I would think that they would like it if he tucked that thing a little closer to his body.
Well, we have another injured player on the field, and with that, we'll take a break with 4:20 to play. And invite you to join the NFL's official fan community at NFL.com/fans. Comment on the latest news with thousands of other users. Live chats, great player performances, watch video, and more only at NFL.com/fans. Justin Fargas into the backfield. Jets have played the turnover game poorly lately. Today, it's +2. This is Fargas. Wrapped up close to the 20-yard line. And by the way, that 20-yard line is the best starting position the Raiders have had so far today.
Well, if they don't have any success on 1st or 2nd down, obviously 3rd and long is a tough situation for any quarterback. But for Jamarcus Russell, it's almost insurmountable against the defense that's going to be loaded up with the success they've already had blitzing. Who knows what kind of looks he's going to see now.
On 2nd and 10, Russell looking, going deep. Incomplete. Darius Hayward-Bay down the sideline, guarded by Dwight Lowry.
Well, pushing and shoving on both sides. Now look at Lowry. Look how quickly he turns. He reads that go pattern all the way. Hand fighting between the two of them. That's a good no call by the official. That is a situation where Dwight Lowry had excellent position on Hayward-Bay. The ball was deep. He was not obligated to give it up.
3rd and 10. From the shotgun, Russell has time. Wide open out here in the flat is Tony Stewart. First down yardage and then some, knocked out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line, and that's a first down.
A rather large mistake by the Jets defensively.
And we have another player on the ground, and that appears to be Stewart, or no. Let's see. I'm sorry, Louis Murphy.
That's Louis Murphy. You could hear the hit all the way up here. Right there. Whoa, Kerry Rhodes comes in. What a shot.
That's a twofer.
Louis Murphy last week had 2 sensational blocks on the long touchdown. And just almost the perfect storm. Louis Murphy coming over trying to make a block on Kerry Rhodes. And the two of them really deliver the shot on Stewart, and Rhodes and Murphy are both shaken.
That may show up in the Jets film session. Rhodes to the sideline. Eric Smith replaces him in the secondary. First down. This is Fargas. Fargas running room, midfield, 45, and another first down. Dwight Lowry made the stop, but not until he reached the 43-yard line of the Jets.
Oh, finally something for the crowd here in Oakland to cheer about. Nice hole right off right guard. Fargas able to cut back.
And they go no huddle, and here's the gift to Fargas around the near side. Inside the 35-yard line, and that's very close to another first down.
And this is a good job by Tom Cable there of changing it up a little bit, doing a quick count, a quick snap. Now they're going to go back and huddle. Do anything to shake it up. Cable calls the plays. Last couple of weeks he's been working a great deal with the offensive line, trying to, they're trying to compensate for the loss of Robert Gallery and Cornell Green, 2 starters that are still missing.
Second and short yardage. This is Gary Russell, and Russell has a first down to the Jet 33. This is what the Raiders did very well against the Eagles last week, run the football.
Well, I mentioned Robert Gallery. There he is standing on the sidelines. He's the Raiders' best offensive lineman. He's going to be back here pretty soon. He broke his leg in week 2. He's normally at the left guard. Cornell Green has a calf injury. He's normally the right tackle. He's missing his 3rd game, and they've had to slide everybody around.
Play fake. Russell going to throw for the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone by Darrelle Revis. Pass intended for Todd Watkins. Revis with his 2nd interception of the season.
Well, Jamarcus Russell identifies single coverage on the receiver. That's the good news. The bad news is it's Darrelle Revis, and he throws the ball deep where Revis becomes the receiver and makes a spectacular catch. A truly spectacular catch. At that point, Darrelle Revis is the wide receiver and Watkins is the defender. And instead of a touchdown, though, it's an interception.
And Jamarcus Russell is making no secret of the fact that he's upset. 3 turnovers in 4 possessions. From the 20-yard line, Sanchez going to go deep, far sideline, and overthrows everybody. Pass intended for Dustin Keller, his tight end, guarded by Thomas Howard.
Well, I don't know if Jamarcus Russell is upset because his receiver didn't go up and make the play. I can't jump inside his head. I'm not sure what he's mad about.
And you're not tall enough.
The reality is that Darrelle Revis made one heck of a play. And again, adding to his up-and-coming reputation as one of the league's best corners.
This is Thomas Jones trying to squeeze through on the right side, gets about 2.5 yards before Kirk Morrison makes the stop.
He talks about being out there on Revis Island, and he relishes the attention that he gets from going up against the other team's best receivers. He's had great success against Andre Johnson and Randy Moss and Terrell Owens.
We're in the final minute of the first quarter. Sanchez looking at a 3rd and 7. With time, throws, and just missed connections with Dustin Keller coming toward the near sideline.
Well, Mark Sanchez has become a believer in the old football adage about any drive that ends in a kick is a good drive, whether that kick be an extra point, a field goal attempt, or a punt. What that means is you didn't turn it over.
Weatherford gonna fake it straight up the middle, 30, and slides down at about the 38-yard line for a Jet first down.
I don't believe I ever saw an executed fake where so many members of the opposing team had no idea it was a fake. Watch this. Everyone from the Raiders has their back turned. They still don't know. They still have one guy.
Dan, we asked Rex Ryan, when Steve Weatherford takes off like that, is he on his own? And Rex said, no.
Ekajuba, number 50, is the only Raiders player that finally figures out that it's a fake. They were running downfield like the pigeons.
14-0 Jets after 1. Welcome back to Oakland, everyone. Greg Gumbel, Dan Dierdorff started the second quarter, and from their own 39-yard line, this is Thomas Jones trying to find some running room on the near side, and he will get across the 40 to about the 42.
And with the injury to Leon Washington, we are being told he has a lower leg injury. He will not return to this game. The Jets only have 4 running backs active.
Meanwhile, there's Steve the Sprinter Weatherford.
Yeah, and so the workload now for Thomas Jones, Shaun Green's going to have to play a part. The other is 37-year-old Tony Richardson, the fullback.
On 2nd and 6, the pitch for Jones. And out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. That'll take him about 4 yards shy of a first down.
Well, the guru of special teams coaches is Mike Westhoff. He loves to dial these up against Miami. There goes Weatherford on one of 2 fake punts in that game. And then here he goes just a little bit ago. And I'm telling you, running a fake punt from deep in your own territory where the risk is so high. And there is Mike Westhoff, who tells his guys, I didn't invent everything about special teams, just most of it.
3rd and 4, Sanchez spreads the field. Short drop, quick pop over the middle, incomplete. At midfield, Braylon Edwards, the intended receiver, and Weatherford will come on again.
I'll give some credit to Chris Johnson there, the Raiders corner, who was all over Braylon Edwards.
I can't help recalling the look on Rex Ryan's face when we said, does Weatherford go on his own on those fakes? And he went, no.
What do you think I'm running here? Some sort of a country club?
Johnny Lee Higgins is deep. Weatherford kicks this one. Higgins, fair catch at the 10-yard line. 13:46 to play here in the first half. The Jets taking advantage of Oakland turnovers today. One of the denizens here in Oakland as we welcome you back. With 13:46 to play here in the second quarter. Russell going to give it to Fargas up the middle. 30, 35, still on his feet, up to the 45-yard line.
Boy, another great job of blocking by this Raider offensive line. Nothing very fancy, but when the cutback occurs, nobody is there to make the play. And again, Fargas is cutting back into that spot that a lot of times occupied by Chris Jenkins.
That's the guy that they told, the Jets told us constantly, we're going to miss him.
And you see Boou was the guy there that was at his ankles and couldn't make the play.
Fargas again. This time stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to the interception that Jamarcus Russell threw and Darrelle Revis picked off. Here's the play, and the question is, Dan, could the receiver, Ton Watkins, have done more, because Jamarcus Russell was very upset on the sideline.
Yeah, he was. You know, Watkins did go down. He was running stride for stride with Revis, but the reality is the ball appeared to be in a better position for Revis to make the play. Obviously, Jamarcus Russell thought differently.
Second and 9. Quick pass to the far side. That's Darius Hayward-Bay, and he's wrestled down short of midfield by Darrelle Revis.
Well, now we're being told that Shaun Ellis, the very talented defensive end, the longest tenured Jet, has an ankle, and it's questionable how much more he's going to play today. So that's 2 of the 3 normal starters on this defensive front. Jenkins on IR, out for the year with a knee, and now Shaun Ellis on the sideline.
Well, Shaun told us yesterday, Rex has been angry with us the last 3 weeks.
He's not used to having his defense play like that.
3 wide receivers in for Jamarcus Russell from the shotgun. And here they come. Russell on the move. Under pressure, throws it over the middle, and just behind the Jets defender, Dwight Lowery.
Just throw it away. Jamarcus Russell, just throw it away. Don't slingshot it. All right, buy yourself a little time. You know how to do that, but don't do that.
Throwing it back across his body.
Don't do that. Again, no one anywhere near it wearing a black jersey. Just sophomoric mistakes.
Shane Leckler to kick. Jim Leonard is going to let it bounce, and the Raiders are going to down this one deep in Jet territory. Sam Williams with the coverage. 11:22 to play in the second quarter. Jets by 2 touchdowns.
Overpaying is over. Talk to Chuck. Charles Schwab. Visit schwab.com. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Chevy. Put us up against anyone and may the best car win.
Hey, Wednesdays on Showtime, the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NFL returns. JB, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp on the longest-running show on cable. Inside the NFL Wednesdays on Showtime. There is wide receiver Louis Murphy. After that hit, we are told he suffered a head injury, and his return for the day is questionable. Meanwhile, second-string quarterback Bruce Gradkowski taking snaps, warming up on the sideline, and we may see him if Jamarcus Russell doesn't improve in the not-too-distant future.
Well, he was taking snaps from the starting center, Samson Sattelli.
Shaun Green, the rookie running back from Iowa, in the backfield for the Jets. And gets the call out to close to the 10-yard line.
Number 23, Shaun Green. Hit by number 61, John.
Well, once again, the Raiders get a big play from Shane Leckler, their punter. I don't think there's any question who the best punter in football is and has been for a long time. And he pins the Jets deep. Tom Cable told us that one of the areas on this team that has to get better are the special teams. He's talking about the overall play, certainly not talking about either Leckler or Gradkowski.
Second down, Green again, and he's collared at about the 12-yard line. In fact, we asked Coach Cable if having kickers like that, if it allows him to coach the game a little differently. He said, you betcha.
Oh, sure it does. And talking about coaching the game a little differently, that's what Brian Schottenheimer has to be doing right now without Leon Washington, especially now as we get to a third down situation. That play sheet that he holds in front of him, like any offensive coordinator, there's a lot of number 29 sprinkled all over that thing that all of a sudden has to get crossed out.
Well, on 3rd and 5, we get a timeout on the field. And we'll take a break and come back to Oakland after this.
3rd and 5.
Welcome back, everyone. On the left, second-string quarterback Bruce Gradkowski, who has been warming up and looking for all the world like a man who may get some playing time. But Jamarcus Russell still wearing his helmet. Jets looking at a 3rd and 5. Sanchez over the middle, got his man across the 25. David Clowney for the first down.
David Clowney.
What a wondrous thing a good pocket is for a quarterback. And Mark Sanchez gets to sit in one right there. Look at the attention that Braylon Edwards draws. He draws 2 Oakland defenders, and they just turn Clowney loose. But look at Sanchez and the pocket that he was afforded by his offensive line to stand there and survey the field and wait for that pattern to come open.
So the Jets out now to their own 26-yard line.
That was a reception by Clowney, Greg, but an assist to Braylon Edwards.
Here's Thomas Jones. Squeezes through just left of center and out across the 30 to the 33.
Tackled by number 52, Kurt Morrison.
It's a beautiful day here in the East Bay.
Thank you.
It is, isn't it nice?
Gain of 7.
70, what, 73, 74?
About that. A 7-yard gain makes it 2nd and 3 for Sanchez and the Jets. This is Jones again. And Jones stepping over defenders and his own blockers and across the 40 to the 42.
You got that right. I think the biggest impediment there was his own guy. Take a look, Brandon Moore coming around, and he goes down after making the block. And
Excuse me.
Thomas Jones just showing a little Ronaldo Nehemiah right over the top here.
Jones 210 yards rushing in the loss to Buffalo last week, a franchise record for the Jets.
And they ran for a total of 318, an astonishing number in a losing effort.
And we get a whistle and a timeout by the Jets. So the Jets call timeout. They use their first here in the first half, and we'll take a break. Welcome back, everyone. That is Shaun Ellis, defensive end for the Jets, walking off the field and into the locker room. Ankle injury. His return is questionable at this point. Sanchez going to throw the quick slant across midfield, and still on his feet is Braylon Edwards inside the Oakland 45 to the 44.
And again, a good look at what there is to like about Braylon Edwards, a physical presence. Not just a great leaper and a route runner, but after the catch. Look at that quick little slant. And he never went down. He sat on top of Chris Johnson, but his knee or elbow never touched the turf. Good hustle by Braylon Edwards. This appears to be working out for the Jets.
So far, so good. They give us to Thomas Jones, and Jones bouncing off tacklers, lost the football, and it went out of bounds. Tyvon Branch came up with the hit.
Well, that is from behind. Thomas Jones, he's making his move, jumping over Chris Johnson, and he does not anticipate Branch coming in from behind, and he does a good job of poking out the ball. Very fortunate for New York.
2-yard pickup, 2nd and 8. The Jets now at the Oakland 42. This 51-yard drive by the Jets, their longest of the day. Jones sidesteps a tackle just inside the 40. Sanchez and the Jets using up some time on this drive. That is now an 8-play drive. It consists of 6 on the ground, 2 through the air.
And this is exactly what that's the kind of ratio that the Jets 6-2. That might be a little run heavy, but that means they're in the lead and they're protecting their young quarterback.
Short drop, hit as he got rid of the football, and there's a penalty flag deep in the secondary. And this is going to be against the Raiders.
hit. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Here's Gene Steratore.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Defensive back Stanford Rout guilty of the hold.
And that is a crippling penalty on third down, and that it's an automatic first down. And Tom Cable throwing a challenge flag. I'm trying to
figure out exactly what it is he's challenging.
Was the ball tipped? What? But he said prior to the holding has to occur prior to the pass, so that can't have anything to do with it.
And Gene Steratore may be explaining it to him that maybe he can't.
A defensive hold occurs prior to the ball being thrown,
which is clearly what Gene Steratore said prior to the pass.
Yeah, that's what that is exactly what he said. He may be handing that back to Tom Cable and saying that this is, sorry coach, there's just nothing you can do about this.
Oakland was attempting to challenge the previous play, saying that the ball was tipped. However, the penalty on the play was defensive holding, which occurs prior to the pass. Therefore, it is not a challengeable play. It'll be 1st and 10 New York Jets.
Well explained by Gene Steratore.
Well, Gene Steratore, one of the best referees in the game, and that's just the way it is. But again, Stanford Rout, what a big penalty. Keeping a drive alive like that when it would have been a punting situation outside of field goal range.
Dan, you were talking about what the Jets want to do today. They ran it 19 times, 8 times they've thrown it.
That's what an early lead will do for you.
On first down, the pitch for Shaun Green, right side, cuts inside 30, 20, 15, 10, and out of bounds just short of the 5-yard line. Michael Huff made the saving tackle.
Well, you could see it at the line of scrimmage. The Raiders so overcommitted to the run. Look at everybody on the line. What's that mean? You get past that first level. There is no second level of defenders, and there's only one guy deep. That's Michael Huff. Damian Woody there, number 67, comes out, and he takes Branch out of the play. But again, when you put everybody on the line of scrimmage and play a single safety deep, if you crack that initial veneer, Michael Huff, the only guy left to make a play. That was an all-or-nothing play on first down by the Raiders, and they got nothing.
Meanwhile, Tommy Kelly slowly walking off the field on the near side. Number 93, the defensive tackle. That's Kelly at 6'6", 300 pounds. Now the Jets back in the red zone. Their first 2 trips there, they scored touchdowns. Line of scrimmage, the Oakland 8, 1st and goal. 10th play of this 85-yard drive. Shaun Green in the backfield. Green to the 5, touchdown. That's it, baby. Shaun Green's first NFL touchdown from 8 yards out.
And after the penalty on Stanford Rout, it's almost like somebody put a pin in the balloon with that Oakland defense. 2 big plays, following up 2 running plays, and almost uncontested. Don't forget that first NFL touchdown.
Jay Feely's kick out of Kellen Clemens' hold is good. 5:51 to play in a 21-0 Jet lead.
Again, good work. Alan Faneca gets a block. Ferguson gets a good block. Mangold, Brandon Moore seals off the backside. Damian Woody, they all did their jobs. Awfully easy getting into the end zone. And that's a lot of people in black shirts spectating.
Meanwhile, for the rookie out of Iowa, Shaun Green, he may he may cradle that football all the way back to New York tonight.
Greg Ellis, the defensive end for Oakland, said something very interesting to us when he said, you know, they were stung by Antonio Pierce, the middle linebacker of the New York Giants, who said playing the Raiders was like a scrimmage. And he goes, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if we can play a football game without somebody saying names about us. You know, they responded last week and took it out on the Eagles. And he said it'll be interesting to see how we play against the Jets without anyone saying anything derogatory about our football team.
Meanwhile, Bruce Gradkowski is throwing a football like a man who plans to be in there in the lineup.
Well, they both have their helmets. They both have their chin straps on.
This is Jonathan Holland from the 9.
I hope they both don't run out at the same time. That could be ugly.
And out across the 25 to the 26-yard line with 5:45 to play here in the first half.
Well, Gradkowski's talking to Cable. That's the guy. That's the one that counts. He's getting the play from Tom Cable.
And Gradkowski coming onto the field. The crowd cheers. Jamarcus Russell standing on the sideline. There he is.
When doesn't the backup quarterback get cheered?
There's Jamarcus Russell's numbers. 6 of 11. Lost a fumble. Picked twice. And Gradkowski gets the benefit of the best field position of the day for the Raiders. And going to throw on his first play. Going to go deep. Has a man open. And that is pulled in. No, incomplete. Louis Murphy had a shot at pulling it down.
Unfortunately, so did Darrelle Revis. Well, Gradkowski sees, and he really got Revis on that stutter step. Revis almost went to the ground, and very fortunate for Darrelle Revis, the ball was a little underthrown, and Murphy had to wait for it. Revis put his arm up there, got it up near the face, wasn't quite sure where the football was. That was some recovery by Darrelle Revis, who could have been burned.
That's Gradkowski's first incompletion of the season. He was 2 for 2 coming in. 2nd and 10. Going to throw it again. And that one knocked down by Calvin Pace. Got a big hand up in the air. It'll be 3rd and 10.
If Calvin Pace holds on to that football, he walks into the end zone with a touchdown. Well, it's a tough outing for Russell, but Gradkowski starts off with 2 incompletions, but man, that could have easily been an INT. If that ball caroms back in front of Calvin Pace and he's able to bring it in, he just strolls it.
Gradkowski's listed at 6'1", but by comparison with Jamarcus Russell, he's looking a whole lot smaller out there.
Well, who would? Russell at 6'6", 275.
On 3rd and 10. Gradkowski completes this one at the 30-yard line to Zach Miller, and he's ridden out of bounds.
Well, as you've seen, there has been a quarterback change, and this is why. On their first possession, Calvin Pace strips the ball. Marcus Douglas recovers. That leads to a touchdown. Then Jim Leonard with an interception. And then trying to force it downfield, Darrelle Revis makes a sensational effort. And Jamarcus Russell is feeling the sting of when things don't go well, kind of like Mark Sanchez last week.
His 6th Oakland drive, 3rd punt. They've had 3 turnovers. Jim Leonard all the way back to his 5-yard line, looking for running room. Penalty marker is down back upfield as he gets back to the 17-yard line.
How does a guy punt the ball that far? I mean, sometimes
spinach.
Leckler touches that thing off and you're just going, am I really seeing a guy kick like that?
That's a 62-yard kick.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 51. Penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, New York.
So Ryan Fowler guilty of the penalty, and we'll take the opportunity.
Well, here are the New York Jets huddling in their own end zone. Now this is where smart football comes into play. You got a 3-touchdown lead. Whatever you do, don't make it easy for Oakland.
Jets have scored 2 touchdowns off Oakland turnovers. And the fans trying to inspire the Raider defense. Thomas Jones. out close to the 10-yard line. Kirk Morrison with the stop as we come up on 5 minutes to play in the first half.
And I would assume in this situation that Oakland is really going to dramatically overplay the line of scrimmage, hoping that the Jets are not going to put the ball in young Mr. Sanchez's hands and just try to run for this first down. The problem is if you overcommit, you run the risk of breaking the big run or getting a pass completion. Look at all the people up on the line.
This is Jones again. And Jones across the 15 to the 17-yard line and a first down.
And again, we see the Jets with Oakland overplaying the line of scrimmage, losing their gap responsibilities, and the Jets breaking through that initial wave. And again, look at this. And Tyvon Branch having to come back and make the play from behind. And ooh, that ball almost gets away from Thomas Jones.
And this comes as no surprise to the Raiders. They knew exactly what the Jets wanted to come in and do. On first down, Jones again. Stop this time at the 18.
Well, I tell you one thing, if I'm Brian Schottenheimer, I'm standing over there going, play action. I would love to dial it up. These guys all over the line of scrimmage. Mark Sanchez very adept at his ball faking, his movement on naked boots one way or another. That's got to be tempting to Schottenheimer.
Shaun Green in there now on second and long yardage. Sanchez rolling left, throws, got his man, Dustin Keller, room to run, 40, and out close to the 45-yard line where Michael Huff makes the stop.
Yes, I am the new offensive coordinator of the Jets. You just have to do it. You have to do it. They've got so many people up on the line of scrimmage. You got a quarterback who moves so well, and Dustin Keller looking like the old Bob Tucker of the New York Giants. He perfected that thing, flopping to the ground. The defense totally loses sight of you. Really well done by Dustin Keller. Almost impossible to defend.
So the Jets out now to their own 44. This is Green. Green, running room, inside the 45 to the 44 of the Raiders. And another first down.
If you're an Oakland fan, thank heavens for Michael Huff. He came up and put a real shot on Shaun Green, but again, the initial level of Oakland defenders is being gashed. And that is just running through a tackle. John Alston, no chance, but that's some hit by Michael Huff.
And we are coming up to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in Oakland. It's been all Jets, 21-0. We'll be back. And we're looking at the Sprint halftime report in the not-too-distant future. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report on a beautiful day here in the Bay Area.
Boy, you can see all the way through the Golden Gate, all the way out to the Pacific.
Jets have done everything right so far today. Sanchez, no sacks, no turnovers. Jets have committed no penalties on offense. On first down, Shaun Green, and Green to the 40. The running game has been going and going well, according to game plan.
Yeah, take a look at that, especially the middle. They have really been banging it up. They haven't done anything left. They haven't had to. They've already got 133 yards rushing. And keep in mind, this is against a Raider defense that knew exactly what the Jets were going to try to do against them.
Green again. Green trying to turn the corner and is knocked out of bounds at about the 38. Tyvon Branch coming up to make the stop. This is a Jet offense that comes in averaging 163 yards a game on the ground. That's second best in the NFL.
Well, when you pad your stats with a 318 performance like they had last week, the averages all go up dramatically. But again, all week long, the Raiders they talked every day about, we know the Jets are going to try to run the football against us. There aren't many things in this game more satisfying than running the ball on someone when they know what's coming.
3rd and 3. Jones. And appears to have enough, just barely for a first down just inside the 35-yard line. We'll see where they spot the ball. That looks to be enough for a first down. It is. And the Jets take a timeout to stop the clock now with 1:15 to play. That leaves them with 1 timeout and 1:15 on the clock. We'll sit him down and show him footage of how he wants his quarterback to play. Showed him footage of Joe Montana, and then showed Mark footage of himself when he was in high school and in college, as well as the first 3 games of this year. Shaun Green carries around the left side.
Well, any rookie quarterback is going to have hiccups, and the Jets wisely reduced his, the amount of workload. He's not audibling as much as he was in the past. Well, look at that cluster on the bottom here by the Jets.
On 2nd and 6, Green inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line, and the clock continues to move. 40 seconds to play in the first half.
I think they'd like to get a little closer for Jay Feely.
3rd and 3 from the 28.
Kellen Clemens appears to be the new holder in place of Weatherford, who bobbled that snap in overtime last week.
3rd and 3, and they're going to spread the field.
And they're using an awful lot of time at the
short drop. Sanchez throws outside, has his man, and out of bounds at the 21-yard line is Wallace Wright, making his first reception of the year.
Sanchez.
Well, and now down to only 8 seconds.
7 yards on that pass play.
Regardless of how many yards you picked up there, you don't have enough time to go for the end zone and try to get a touchdown.
So there's the new holder, backup quarterback Kellen Clemens.
Hey guys, line up over the center, please.
And the play clock already down to 10. This is a 39-yard field goal attempt by Feely. Kick is on its way and looks pretty good. And with 3 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Jets off to a 24-0 lead.
And this beginning for the Jets has to be so satisfying. Remember last year, they made 4 trips to the West Coast and lost all 4 of the games. Rex Ryan kept them on Eastern time on this trip. They still came out on Friday, but the Jets right now playing like a football team that very much knows exactly what time it is.
And Mark Sanchez playing in front of family and friends. Said, how many tickets you got for this week? 60-something.
Well, this state is his home state. Grew up in Southern California, but still he's in the state of California. And a few Sanchez jerseys around. The more traditional Jets jersey, instead of them resembling the Pittsburgh Steelers here today. Some of the Raiders are wearing throwbacks, but you can't hardly tell it. That's how little their uniforms have changed over the years. Thankfully, the Jets uniforms have changed for the better.
Hey, those Raider uniforms are classic.
Yes, they are.
Classic. Squibbing the kick along the ground, picked up at the 25-yard line by Luke Lawton. And Lawton back across the 40 as time winds down. We have come to the along with Dan DIERDOFF. I think it's safe to say that the Jets were looking for a way to make Mark Sanchez comfortable today. Dan, the defense made sure of that.
Yeah, they sure did. And the play of Jamarcus Russell early on, turning the ball over, giving the Jets starting field position that was just awesome. And they jump out to that lead. For Rex Ryan and the Jets, tailor-made. This is exactly the scenario you could have envisioned. Perfect.
Mark Sanchez, 6 of 10 for 75 yards and 1 rushing touchdown in the first half. As we get set for the second half now, coming your way in high definition here on CBS. And the Jets will get their hands on the football first.
And while we talked about it being perfect for the Jets, could it have been any more imperfect for the Raiders? What a horrible first half. Their starting quarterback gets pulled. Their defense started to slack off towards the end.
Dwight Lowry set to return this kick, picks it up on the run at the 12. Spinning just about to the 30-yard line as we take a look at some numbers from the first half, and not surprisingly, Dan, heavily weighted in favor of the New York Jets.
And it's this is what's really the 145 yards rushing for New York. That is just imposing your will on the other team. The Raiders knew they were going to run. The Jets knew they were going to run. The mailman, the postman, the milkman, everyone knew they were going to run, and the Raiders haven't been able to stop it. Whether Jamarcus Russell plays in the second half or not, we'll see.
He's sitting. Bruce Gradkowski is standing. Meanwhile, Sanchez on the field with Thomas Jones in the backfield as the Jets go to work from their own 29. And coming around is David Clowney. Clowney trying to turn the corner. That's not much of a gain as he just made it across the 30-yard line out to the 31. You know, you mentioned earlier, Dan, the Jets rushed for 318 yards last week, and when we talked to Rex Ryan about it, he knew the question was coming. Did you ever in your life think you would no. No. You can't possibly imagine running for that many yards and still losing the football game.
And you know, Greg, I want to correct myself when I said it was a perfect first half for the Jets. One thing, the loss of Leon Washington, that is not perfect.
Here's Jones. Jones close to the 35.
Leon Washington left the game. He went in the locker room. He's not come back. He's got a lower leg injury. It didn't look good when it happened, and the question that hopefully will get answered this week: how long is Leon Washington going to be out? How severely is he injured? But such a vital part of this Jets offense.
Meanwhile, Shaun Green has been pressed into service. He had 9 carries for 63 yards and his first NFL touchdown in the first half. Jones, 19 carries for 60 yards. And on 3rd and 4, Sanchez to throw. Throws behind Dustin Keller.
Well, here is the injury to Leon Washington, and watch his right leg as it gets caught underneath right there. Tommy Kelly falls on the back of it. And when Leon left the field, he just couldn't put any weight on it at all. He went right to the cart, into the locker room, and he's not been seen since. And that is, can't overstate the loss of Leon Washington.
Jets suffer their first 3 and out of the day. Johnny Lee Higgins at his 16-yard line and can't escape the grasp of Ahmad Carroll. So the Raiders back on offense, and let's see who's going to quarterback for the Oakland Raiders. It's going to be Bruce Gradkowski. We'll be back. Jamarcus Russell watching from the sideline as the Raider offense gets underway here in the 3rd quarter. Their first possession, line of scrimmage, their own 16-yard line. Bruce Gradkowski is the quarterback, and he's going to throw. Short pop over the middle to Gary Russell out of the backfield, and he's brought down. You said something very interesting during the break, Dan. You said if you were running the Raiders, would have started Jamarcus Russell here in the second half.
Well, he is supposed to be your quarterback. He was the number 1 overall pick in the draft 3 years ago, and I don't think that Bruce Gradkowski or Charlie Fry is the long-term answer at quarterback here. The guy's got to grow. I don't know how much he's going to grow standing on the sidelines.
This is Michael Bush. Well, now let me ask you: are you talking about conceding the football game?
No, I don't know. Well, do you concede the game by putting number 2? Has it come to that?
Well, only if number 1 isn't been getting the job done. And clearly, you know, we talked about his turnovers in the first half, a lost fumble and 2 interceptions.
No, he has not played well. I would not have been surprised if Tom Cable would have started him in the second half. That's my point. And if I was the head coach, I probably would have started him in the second half.
And yet, Russell's completion percentage in the first half is better than what he's been doing all season long. Gradkowski on the slant, and he's got the rookie wide receiver Lewis Murphy for a first down out to about the 28-yard line.
Now, if Gradkowski leads the Raiders to a 30-point second half, then that shows why I'm not a head coach in the NFL. But I'm just thinking of the long-term future of this franchise and what part does Jamarcus Russell play in that. And there is the great Al Davis sitting in his box. Jim Otto sitting down in front of him. And how painful this must be.
Gradkowski under pressure, eludes 2 tacklers and is on the move. 35, 40, and across the 45-yard line out to about the 49 and a first down.
Well, there's a spark. Gradkowski doing his best to win over the fans, and you'll win over the other guys in your huddle by a gritty little performance like this, getting away from the rush. You get away from 2 Jets, and no hook slide here for Bruce Gradkowski. Head first, move the chains.
6'1", 220 in his 4th season out of Toledo. On first down, he's going to give it to Michael Bush. And Bush across midfield into Jet territory at the 49-yard line. And of course, whether Jamarcus Russell is the future is really the question. I thought it was interesting when we were talking to Paul Hackett. Paul Hackett says every day is an adventure when you have a young quarterback and young wide receivers.
Well, Jamarcus Russell came out of college at LSU unpolished. He did not have good fundamentals. He did not have good footwork. His footwork continues to be a daily issue with the Raiders. And until it gets better, you cannot succeed in this league with arm strength alone. Bush
trying to turn the corner inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. That's a couple of yards short of a first down.
Now, one of the things we're seeing here is some life out of the Raiders offense. Part of that is Bruce Gradkowski, but part of it is the blocking is better. The running appears to be harder, and I'm assuming that some of that is in response to a hellacious tongue lashing that they got at halftime from Tom Cable.
Here's Coach Hackett.
If Tom Cable didn't light into them at halftime, I don't know what he was saving it
for. 3rd and 2. They're going to run it. And Bush has running room inside the 35 to about the 33 and a first down.
And right now, the Jets defense kind of playing like a team that's got a 24-0 lead. They're being shoved and pushed out of the way and not getting off blocks. And you saw right there an arm tackle by Calvin Pace, an attempted tackle in the secondary that was not very effective.
This Oakland team has scored just 5 touchdowns all season long. They're averaging just over 10 points a game. On first down, Fargas. No gain on that play. It'll be 2nd and 10. And Jamarcus Russell, rather than sulking on the bench, much to his credit, cheering his teammates on the sideline.
Oh, if he would be over there sitting on the bench, that I would be really surprised if he'd do something like that. That would just show that you have totally mailed it in. Far from it. He's got his helmet on because that way he can listen to the play being called. He's good for him that he's remaining in the game. Sulking on the bench, that's professional suicide.
2nd and 10. Gradkowski to throw. On the move, and he's going to run it out of bounds just inside the 30-yard line. To about the 28-yard line, and a good sustained drive by the Oakland Raiders. A drive that has taken up 9 plays so far and 56 yards.
You see twice as many runs as passes. Some nice new technology there. You can kind of see how they've covered these 56 yards. Kind of like that.
Gradkowski, 2 carries for 25 yards so far. Now looking at a 3rd and 5. Good protection. On the move, look out from behind. He lost the football. It is on the ground, and who's got it?
Well, the Jets have it. They had it. Did they keep it? Remember, you've got to have complete possession of the football before you and the ball goes out of bounds.
Possessed the football prior to going out of bounds. The ball was then fumbled forward and out of bounds. It will be the New York Jets ball, 1st and 10. Timeout.
Calvin Pace, who has been a wrecker today, caused the fumble.
My best friend from high school.
My
roommate.
My sister. My dad, he lives down south.
I know someone who owns one.
My cousin.
My teammate. He's a linebacker.
Everybody knows somebody who loves a Honda. Who do you know?
So can I read a lot of books on this thing?
Yes, the Sony Reader digital book can carry hundreds of books, like...
Once again, our thanks to the MetLife blimp for providing aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife blimps Snoopy 1 and 2 when they pass through a town near you.
Well, sometimes when you don't play as much as you would like, sometimes that clock in a quarterback's head doesn't work as well as it should. And Bruce Gradkowski just did not sense how long he was holding the football.
There's Thomas Jones. Jones breaking through to about the 47.5-yard line where Nnamdi Asomugha made the tackle.
And meanwhile, Calvin Pace makes another big play. Remember, to get this game started, Pace was the guy who pressured and stripped Jamarcus Russell of the football. So
remember, Calvin Pace sat out the first 4 games of this season for the Jets and told us yesterday that, yeah, it was fun watching them win, but boy, it's tough to sit and watch your teammates play and you can't play.
He served a 4-game league suspension.
This is Jones again. And Jones crosses midfield and gets into Oakland territory at the 49-yard line.
Look at that. That's a pretty clean slate, isn't it? Only 1 penalty, and no turnovers, and no sacks.
Bruce Gradkowski guilty of that last turnover. Raiders have turned it over 4 times today.
Well, he did give him a spark. I'll give Gradkowski credit for that.
2nd and 7. Sanchez pretty much threw it away on the far side of the field. David Clowney was the nearest receiver. Chris Johnson had him covered.
Well, he totally threw it away. Remember in the first half when Jamarcus Russell was in somewhat that same situation, and he threw it back across his body out in the center of the field towards a couple Jets. That's what a quarterback has to do in that situation.
Well, Mark Sanchez certainly got the message this week from Rex Ryan that, what do you say, a good drive ends in a kick.
And I don't think Mark Sanchez anytime soon wants to have anything resembling the week he just had.
3rd and 7. Sanchez with protection over the middle and finds his man at the 35-yard line, and that's Wallace Wright. Playing today because Jericho Cotchery is inactive, and so is Brad Smith.
Again, a good pocket. You can see Mark Sanchez drifting a little bit to the left.
Wow, that ball got hit as it came out.
Yeah, it looked like he made contact with, was that Shaughnessy just as he was throwing the ball? Man, that's when you got a little arm strength, when you're still able to muscle it to your receiver.
Sanchez gonna go deep, far sideline. It is caught for a touchdown, David Clowney. Clowney's first touchdown catch of the year.
And that is one happy son of a gun, Mark Sanchez. Look at him jumping around.
Team Sanchez sitting here in the stands cheering him on.
Chris Johnson locked up. He's got safety help. He knows that Michael Huff is coming over, but Huff is going to be a little late getting there. He's not a factor. And Chris Johnson loses the football and overruns it. Clowney is the one who makes the adjustment on the ball. Johnson makes no adjustment and strides right on past it, allowing Clowney a free play on it.
Feely's kick is good, and the New York Jets, 21 of their 31 points today off Oakland turnovers. They go 66 yards in 5 plays and are in charge, 31-0. A 66-yard drive, the last 35 yards coming Sanchez to David Clowney. Clowney's first touchdown of this NFL season, and he beat number 37 on the play, Chris Johnson. And Jonathan Holland will not run it out of the end zone. David Clowney.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. and by Honda. Everybody knows somebody who loves a Honda.
Welcome back, Raiders from their own 20-yard line. Bruce Gradkowski still in the game at quarterback and throws a short one over the middle, and that's complete across the 20 to about the 23 to Justin Fargas. I think it's safe to say that the Oakland Raiders against any New York team this season so far has been a mismatch.
Well, the first one there, the second one here, the Giants put it on them 44-7. And this score painfully obvious there at the top of your screen.
4 yards pickup, 2nd and 6. Gradkowski going to give it to Fargas, and Fargas going to get spun down at the 24 by Bart Scott.
Well, we talked earlier about Calvin Pace and the game that he's having. He's really he's had just about as good a game as a defender can have who doesn't have an interception run back into the end zone for a touchdown or anything like that. He has been a welcome addition back, and again, just part of a whole group that's going to have to make up for the loss of Chris Jenkins for the balance of this season.
And just beginning to get into the swing of things in Rex Ryan's defense. 3rd and 6. Gradkowski on the move. Here comes Pace. Got him from behind at the 20-yard line.
Well, on cue, Calvin Pace with a sack there. Here's how this game got started. The Raiders' first possession, he goes right over the right tackle and forces a fumble, knocks one down, almost has an INT. Then he comes and strips Gradkowski from behind, and this was just one play ago. A good hustle sack. Gradkowski can't find anybody downfield, and Pace stays with it and gets the garbage sack.
Time for Shane Leckler to show off his right leg. Oh, look at this kick.
That just doesn't seem possible.
Jim Leonard back to his 18-yard line. And goes down at the 21. That's a 61-yard punt by Shane Leckler.
It was 61 yards high.
Hey, tonight on CBS, it's become one of the most profitable crimes in America, stealing billions from the healthcare system. How are they doing it? The answer tonight on 60 Minutes. Jets from their own 22-yard line with a 31-0 lead. Shaun Green around the right side.
Well, 7 days can sometimes be an eternity, and for Mark Sanchez, that's what this week was. After that painful 5-interception week last week and the loss to Buffalo in overtime. Well, this is the beautiful thing about sports. Redemption is only a week away, and that's the case for Mark Sanchez. Back in his home state of California, it has been a good day so far.
And with a 31-0 lead, not too soon to speculate as to how much longer we'll see him in this game.
Help me! Help me!
On 2nd down, Green, the rookie, across the 35, out to about the 37, 38-yard line, and that's enough for a first down.
Ooh, that offensive line of the Jets. Did you see that surge ahead on the left side? Looked like everybody from Oakland was on roller skates headed backwards.
Even in the losing effort last week, they ran the ball so well, and you can tell there's a great deal of pride in the running game on this team.
Oh, and that's the best way to protect a young quarterback. That's exactly how do you think the Steelers did it when Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie? They ran the heck out of the football.
Here's the rookie again, Green, right side, not much there. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the third, we go to New York and James Brown. Hello, JB.
Hello, Greg and Dan. No running on this play, fellas. Trailing by 21 points. New Orleans tries to narrow that gap before the half. Breeze hooking up with Marcus Colston down to the 1. Breeze on a keeper makes it 24-10 at the half in favor of Miami. Good to hear you, Greg and Dan.
Good to be heard, JB. Thank you. You know, those Miami Dolphins, they did the same thing last year. They started slowly and then came on like a house of fire.
2 touchdowns down there for that Saints offense. That's easily done.
Here's Thomas Jones. And Jones bulls his way to the 44. He'll be about 3 yards short of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 3.
This is when it's awfully hard to play defense. You're down 31-0. Defensive football, Greg, is emotion plays such a big part. There's so much want-to in playing defense. Being able to fight through a block, get off a block, fly to the football, and get there with a nasty attitude. Man, that's hard to do when you're down 31-0.
We have Brandon Moore down on one knee and the staff out to look at him. Moore is the starting right guard in his 7th season out of Illinois.
The only guy on that offensive line that wasn't a #1 draft pick. He's the guy that doesn't want to take part in the conversation about signing bonuses. He got a
not interested.
He got a lunch ticket to the Old Country Buffet, and Woody, Mangold, Faneca, and Ferguson got millions of dollars.
He'll be replaced by number 75, Robert Turner.
Well, Brandon Moore is an excellent example of it. It's not where you were drafted, it's how you play.
So there's Turner in at right guard. 3rd and 3 for the Jets. Jones, first down across midfield to the Raider 49. This running game is looking better and better as the game wears on, as we're in the final 35 seconds of the 3rd quarter.
And that's putting a smile on Rex Ryan's face, because again, running the football in this situation is just exercising your will against your opponent. And right now, the offensive line of the Jets is dominant. Look at all the Raiders on the line of scrimmage.
Here's Jones. There goes Jones. 30 inside the 25. And the last play of the 3rd quarter is a dandy for the New York Jets. They'll go to the other end of the field. 31-0. Jets back to Oakland after this message and a word from your local. And here in Oakland, 31-0 as we get set to start the 4th quarter. Welcome back, everyone, along with our producer, Mark Wolf, our director, Bob Fishman, Dan Dierdorff, Greg Gumbel. Look at the run-to-pass ratio for the New York Jets today. And from the Oakland 23, they'll keep it on the ground with Shaun Green, right side, for a couple to about the 21.
And I say let Mark Sanchez keep playing quarterback as long as he's handing off. All right, let's go back in the archives and check out Jets history through the first 7 games of a season. You see where they are here. 1979, the benchmark. 123 yards behind that now in 2009. But I'd let Sanchez keep playing as long as he's going to do his handoff. But at some point in time, let Kellen Clemens come on in here and play a little football.
This is Green on 2nd down inside the 20 to about the 17.5 yard line. And Rex Ryan, he doesn't look like it, but he's loving it.
Well, this has been a tough 3 weeks. Let's not kid ourselves. It was a pretty heady experience opening up the season 3-0, and especially doing it with a rookie quarterback. And all of a sudden, a lot of adversity came into play the last 3 weeks.
Sanchez in the shotgun now from 3rd and 5. Here comes the blitz. Got rid of it and almost got kicked at the 15 by Kirk Morrison. And Sanchez was decked.
He got whacked.
And
here comes a late flag. Mark Sanchez from behind got clocked.
You were saying?
Yeah, it's.
Gene Steratore going to tell us about the penalty.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 92. Penalties half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Richard Seymour.
All right, Richard Seymour is working on the interior. There's the hit. Trevor Scott puts Mark Sanchez down on a good clean hit coming in from the backside. Well, I don't believe that hit on the quarterback. I don't believe that was not where the flag came from. The flag came well after the fact.
Richard Seymour tangled up with Robert Turner. First and goal for the Jets. This is Jones. And the Jets are relentless.
Well, the Raiders, remember they did this in the first half too, where they, remember Stanford route got called for the defensive hold that continued a Jets drive. You can't have a successful third down play where you don't give up a first down and then you just hand it to them on a platter, courtesy of a penalty.
Well, Rex Ryan's message this week was simple. Tough enough to beat another guy, we can't beat ourselves. Here's Jones. Jones. Inside the 5 to the 3.
Well, this is just a splendid performance by the Jets offensive line. Brian Schottenheimer, the play calling gets a whole lot easier when you're winning the battles up there on the offensive line of scrimmage.
Run left, run right. Run left, run right.
And throw in a middle every now and then. But when you've got an offensive line that is relocating the line of scrimmage 2 or 3 yards downfield on almost every snap, man, life is good.
Thomas Jones, 331 yards rushing in 2 weeks. And he isn't finished yet today. Sanchez now from the shotgun, and we get a penalty marker. Delay a game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that'll back the Jets up to about the 8-yard line.
Well, whatever you do here, it wouldn't involve number 6 holding onto the football for an extended period of time. A quick slant, a fade to the corner. I would not expose Mark Sanchez to another hit.
You're taking the quarterback draw out of the
yes, I would take the quarterback draw is not in play.
Sanchez going to roll, tried for the shovel pass and lost the ball. It's on the ground and covered, it appeared, by Sanchez at the 20-yard line.
And Mark Sanchez took another big hit when he was on the ground. He took a heck of a shot when he's on the ground trying to recover that football. The fake shovel pass, he tried to transfer it back over to his right hand and just completely drops it. And how fortuitous that the ball comes right to him. Kirk Morrison was right in there and he hit him pretty good.
Dan, not only would I take him out of the game, I'd put him on an early flight back.
Well, I'd hide his helmet.
38-yard field goal attempt by Feely on its way, and he missed it right. So a drive by the Jets comes up empty. Mark Sanchez off the field under his own power, and he's lucky because look at the shot he gets right there.
Welcome back to Oakland. Watch this shot that Mark Sanchez takes from Kirk Morrison. He actually drove his helmet and his shoulder pad right into the kidneys of Sanchez when he was on the ground.
Gradkowski almost intercepted by Donald Strickland, number 27. That looked like 6 points for the Jets.
Well, he served it right there. That's almost too easy for Donald Strickland. And Mark Sanchez, you know, Morrison really did. Sanchez was just covering up the football, and Morrison drove himself right into the back of Sanchez. He could have been injured on the play.
Raiders short of 200 yards on the afternoon. Gradkowski over the middle, incomplete. Raiders want a flag. There is none. Darrell Rivas on the coverage of Todd Watkins, and we go to James Brown in New York. JB.
Greg and Dan, New Orleans had trailed 24-3. They've battled back. Take a look here as Chad Henne looking to hook up with Ted Ginn. He can't control it. Tipped by Tracy Porter on defense. Snatched finally by Darren Sharper. He takes it 42 yards for the score. Sharper, 6 picks on the season. That's his 3rd return for the score. It's now 24-17 Miami. Back to Greg and Dan.
JB, we saw Darren Sharper do that same thing to these New York Jets down in New Orleans a few weeks ago.
3rd pick six of the year. What kind of year does Darren Sharper have?
Here come the Jets after Gradkowski over the middle, incomplete across the 40-yard line. intended for Watkins, and Strickland was there.
Well, Watkins, it looked to me like he should have caught that ball. That looked like a pretty decent throw from Gradkowski.
Okay, Dan, this is like exhibition time again. Shane Leckler and his right leg are on the field once again.
Well, it's been a bad day for the Raiders offensively when you and I perk up when the punter comes in.
And look at Jim Leonard all the way back to his 15-yard line.
It looks like he's getting ready to defend a Hail Mary.
Leonard, fair catch called for and made at the 21-yard line. A 51-yard punt. He's get tired. There hasn't been much to cheer about for the Raider faithful here this afternoon. Turnovers and a deadly running game by the New York Jets as the visitors on top 31-0, and Shaun Green, the running back, behind Mark Sanchez.
It's the behind Sanchez part that surprises me.
Out to the 24-yard line. And by the way, tonight here on CBS, the Amazing Race team face a critical challenge. A 6-story water slide. New Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS.
Good news for the Jets. Brandon Moore, who came out of the game, is back in there. But I would have thought that Kellen Clemens would be in there now, especially after the...
I would have thought sooner than now.
Yeah, especially after the shot that Sanchez took last time.
Sanchez, play fake. Under pressure, on the move, and goes down hard at the 25-yard line, and we send it back east to James Brown. JB.
Greg, Tony Romo of the Cowboys getting in a groove, hooking up with Miles Austin. Second touchdown hookup of the day for this pair. That one a 22-yarder. Romo, 17 of 23, 259 yards and 3 touches. Dallas up by 10 over Atlanta. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan DIERDOFF.
All right, JB, and Dallas Cowboys at 3-2. Everybody in the East looking up at the New York Giants. 3rd and 6.
Here comes
Sanchez. Got rid of it over the middle. This is Clowney, who's had himself a fine day. And he's out to the 44-yard line where Chris Johnson drags him down.
Now, nice work by a young quarterback and a young receiver. And Clowney limps on his way over the sideline, recognizing the blitz, making the adjustment. Sanchez gets rid of it because Clowney broke off his route, was right in front of him where he could easily get rid of it. The ball just a touch behind Clowney, but he makes the adjustment.
Clowney getting the start in place of injured Jericho Cotchery. 4 catches for 79 yards today and a touchdown.
The key was the Raider blitz, and Mark Sanchez got rid of the ball in 2 seconds.
On first down, here's the rookie Shaun Green. Cuts it back inside midfield. 45, 40, and down at the 35-yard line. Well, the loss of Leon Washington gives the Jets a chance to look at their rookie running back, who is now up over 100 yards on the day.
Yeah, Shaun Green only had 7 carries coming into the game today. And a pair of 100-yard rushers today. Man, that hasn't happened since Curtis Martin and Lamont Jordan.
Do you think the Jets want to run the game? Do you think the Jets want to run the ball, Dan?
Well, everybody wants to run the ball. The Jets are running the ball.
Coming up on 8 minutes to play, Sanchez for Green. And Green ducks inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line.
It's just as with all these positives for New York here in this game, that little dark cloud up there just won't go away. That dark cloud of concern and uncertainty as to how badly Leon Washington is injured.
He was helped off the field in the first half. Sean Ellis walked off the field and has not returned. Did not look as seriously injured. Meanwhile, Shaun Green continues to try to build his resume, looking for a first down there. And want to remind remind you, coming up time permitting after the game, the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. Jamarcus Russell, tough go of it today.
That's an understatement.
6 of 11 for 61 yards, 2 interceptions and a fumble.
And the hook.
And the hook.
That might be the toughest part.
Green. Look at Shaun Green to the 10, the 5, and a touchdown.
That's what happens when people on a defensive team wait for a teammate to make the play instead of making it yourself. Green fights through an arm tackle, and then at that point it's just his not wanting to quit and everybody else in a black shirt becoming a spectator.
The Jets have kept the Oakland defense on the field all day today.
You know, Greg, we did the loss against the Giants 2 weeks ago, and now this. We haven't caught the Raiders at their best, have we?
No. Healy's kick is good. 6.5 minutes to play. Can't end soon enough for Tom Cable and the Raiders, can it? The New York Jets running game. Shaun Green, 144 yards. Thomas Jones, 121 yards. And those are record-setting performance.
6-11 in the last 2 games.
Wow. Here's Jonathan Holland from the 3. Spins off a tackler and a second tackler and then goes down at about the 17 or 18 yard line.
Greg, I thought the NFL was becoming a pass-happy league.
Dan, how badly are the Philadelphia Eagles feeling right about now?
Good question.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dish Network. Why would you ever pay more for TV? And by TD Ameritrade.
Welcome back to Oakland. 6 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of a game that is all New York Jets, 38-0 at this point.
Boy, do we have some video to show you.
Gradkowski, little flip to Fargas, and Fargas hit as he crosses the 20 out to the 22 by Bart Scott. You know that life is good when you're the quarterback of the New York Jets and you can eat a hot dog on the sideline.
During the last TV timeout, Mark Sanchez is trying his best to hide a hot dog and eat it. Oh, wow. 1 week it's Antonio Pierce saying playing the Raiders was like a scrimmage, and now the other team's quarterback eats a hot dog during the game.
The slant for Lewis Murphy, and Murphy off to the races to midfield, and a first down for the Raiders on the Jet side of the 50-yard line.
Man, I saw Barry Switzer eat a hot dog on the sideline one time coaching a Pro Bowl. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
You think we can assume yet that Sanchez is done for the day? Fargas. And Fargas inside the 45, and all that's left now is for the Raiders to try to break the shutout. 5:15 to play in the fourth.
I really can't believe I just watched Mark Sanchez eat a hot dog during the game.
Trying to figure out where he got it.
That's not entirely cool. That's
this pass again to Murphy, and Murphy inside the Jet 35 to the 33, and another first down. Thomas Jones, 121 yards and a touchdown under his belt. Is he ordering?
Yeah.
Hot dog, please.
You know, Thomas Jones, he's not a kid anymore. You know, he's 31 years old and still awfully productive for a running back in his 30s.
Gradkowski, little flip out to Fargas. Fargas, 25, down to the 20. And Fargas running hard here as the clock hits 4:20.
14 yards to the 20.
You know, I can only assume that Mark Sanchez thought that during a TV timeout that we turn off all our cameras.
Well, those rookies.
He may have just learned a little lesson about the NFL.
When you hear about rookies learning something new every week, I think we found it. Next Sunday, Kyle Orton and the Broncos against Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Meanwhile, the Dolphins meet the Jets or the Raiders and the Chargers. Check your local listings. It all begins with the usual suspects on the NFL Today. Howard Green shaken up on the last play, walked off the field. Meanwhile, first down for Oakland at the Jet 20-yard line.
The Jets are getting awfully thin at the nose tackle position.
Gradkowski looking for the end zone, nobody there. Lewis Murphy saying he was held by Donald Strickland.
Well, he's looking back at Strickland like he's wanting some sort of confirmation from Strickland.
Go on, tell him you held me.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
2nd and 10.
Nice to have Strickland back on the field for the Jets. He's been really bothered by an ankle position.
He did not play the last 4 games with that ankle.
Right. It's a big plus having him back out there, considering
got it.
Lito Shepherd injured and still inactive.
2nd and 10. Gradkowski calls a timeout. So Oakland with 2 timeouts remaining here in the second half, and here's what's happened today. Tom Brady leading the Patriots to victory in London, 23 of 32 for 308, picked twice by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Peyton Manning and company continue to roll, and the Pittsburgh Steelers handle the Minnesota Vikings. That's a big win for the Steelers at home.
Boy, no kidding. And how do they do it? Strong defense. Wow, what's new about that?
All quiet on the Oakland front as you look at some numbers from around the league today.
Yeah, for you fantasy boys and girls, check this out. Brett with 334, but an interception against no touchdowns. That hurts.
Cedric Benson continues to run wild.
Ryan Grant with 148.
And how about Shaun Green right up there, 19 carries, 144 yards.
Who I don't think many people had Shaun Green on their fantasy roster.
On today. 2nd and 10, that pass almost picked by Darrelle Revis at the goal line.
Would you venture to say that, Greg? Not many people had Shaun Green on their fantasy rosters today?
Except me.
Yeah, except you, right.
Because I play fantasy football.
Well, right to Revis, because Revis makes a tremendous adjustment on the ball. The rookie receiver, Lewis Murphy, does not come back to the ball, and you can't act surprised that a veteran corner like Revis jumps in front. And I know he's only a 3rd-year player, but he is a veteran corner.
3rd and 10. Gradkowski throwing up the middle, hits his man inside the 10-yard line, and finally connects with Murphy. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, the blitz forces man coverage behind it, and a good pattern by Murphy, but an even better throw from Gradkowski.
First time into the red zone all day for the Oakland Raiders. Now from the 6, the give is to Bush. Bush trying the right side, cuts back, and spins to the 1. Bush in the lineup now, and Justin Fargas has done the bulk of the running today as Jamarcus Russell looks on from the sideline.
Well, that's Bart Scott down on the field. Boy, the Jets, they're holding their collective breath here. Boy, Bart Scott and David Harris give the Jets a dominating pair of inside linebackers.
You know, Rex Ryan could be getting to that point where he's concerned about having enough people to practice.
Well, they are banged up. And, you know, last week they lost a critical clog with Chris Jenkins at nose tackle. Today, Leon Washington hurt, and they can ill afford this.
They haven't gotten Lito Shepherd back. They have not yet gotten Jericho Crotchery back. Cotchery.
Well,
and
that's
Bart
good news.
Scott walking off.
Yeah, that's that looks good, at least, that Bart's walking off like that.
Hey, just a reminder, once again, time permitting, after the game, the Subway post-game show has JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower, all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway post-game show.
On the right.
2nd and goal. Bush and Russell in the backfield. The give is to Bush. Takes a hit, loses a yard or two. Brian Thomas and Mike DeVito led the charge.
Well, Brian Thomas didn't wrap him up, but he sure hit him. You could hear that thud at the upper rows of the stadium. Not that there's anyone in any of the upper rows of the stadium.
Yeah, the locals pretty much cleared out early on.
Let's go ahead and check out the receiving leaders. How about Miles Austin, 171 on only 6 receptions. Vincent Jackson, 142. Sidney Rice continues to come on for the Vikings. And there's Ocho Cinco at the bottom with double digits in receptions and a pair of touchdowns to go with it.
Bart Scott being tended to on the sideline. Didn't look too serious, but it's easy for us to say up here as we look ahead to the Jets schedule. Coming up next, Miami.
Well, they get to go back to the Meadowlands where they entertain the Dolphins, and then they get a week off, and that is really the perfect timing for a week off. A lot of these buys teams are getting after like the 4th game. That's way too early.
3rd and goal. Gradkowski going to throw for it this side and incomplete. Darius Hayward-Bay doing hand-to-hand over there with Dwight Lowry.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of hand fighting. There always is in the end zone. Remember, you're inside that 5-yard area, but this ball right onto the hands of Hayward-Bay.
You got to catch that one.
You got to catch it. You can argue all you want about this, that, or the other. That ball's right in your hands. You got to catch that thing.
Jamarcus Russell says, that was the shutout right there.
You can look for a flag or whatever you want to do. That was good work by Lowry and bad work by the rookie.
And Gradkowski's going to have to call a timeout here because they're not going to get this play off without the play clock expiring. So the Oakland uses its 3rd timeout, stops the clock, 2:26 to play. We go to James Brown in New York. James.
Hey, Greg, take a look at how the Saints are really on the march indeed. Drew Brees hooking up with Marcus Colston, a 10-yard strike for the score. That completed an 8-play, 82-yard drive. It is now a nursing of a 3-point lead by Miami. Back to Greg and Dan.
Plenty of time to play there, too.
I told you when they were down 24-10, 2 touchdowns to the Saints. Not that it's not a big deal, but wow, as explosive as they are.
Drew Brees, as accurate a thrower of the football as there is in the National Football League these days.
I loved it when Sean Payton told us about his decide and deliver time and how quick it is. Going back to a guy named Dan Marino to prepare.
4th and goal with the shutout on the line. Gradkowski throwing, and it's tipped away incomplete. Intended for Murphy, and Lowry made the play.
And now Murphy again going to the back judge complaining. This is becoming a real habit with the Raider rookie receivers.
And he's not at all happy.
Well, let's see if he's got something legitimately to complain about. I don't see nothing there.
Well, they weren't close to each other at the conclusion of the play.
And I don't see any way that Murphy could have caught that and come down in bounds. He landed well out of bounds anyway.
You know, it's been that kind of a day for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, you could put what's gone right for the Raiders in a thimble.
Kellen Clemens in at quarterback. And they're going to get it straight ahead to number 83, Danny Woodhead. Danny Woodhead in at running back.
Signed off the practice squad. He's a receiver, and now he's in there playing running back. Hey, the more you can do.
2 minutes to play here in Oakland. Once again, Danny Woodhead in the backfield, and once again, he gets the handoff and busts his way out to the 10-yard line, and once again to New York and James Brown.
Miami expanding this lead over the Saints thanks to a big play by Brian Hartline, a 67-yard pass play that set up this 3-yard touchdown run by Ricky Williams, his third of the day, a 34-24 lead by Miami. It's been a long train ride thus far. Back to Greg and Dan.
Wildcat offense strikes again for the Miami Dolphins. Thank you, JB. Clock is running. We are under a minute and a half to play here in the fourth quarter. And Kellen Clemens and the Jets are in win the game, kill the clock mode. And now we get a whistle. And the Jets call a timeout. 300-yard rushing games back to back. Only Buffalo since 1960 has done that.
That's 50 football seasons. That's pretty darn impressive.
While we have a moment, the executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Sean McManus. Vice president of production of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS. And tonight's game producer, Mark Wolf. Today's game directed by Bob Fishman. The senior producer of CBS Sports in the NFL today is Eric Mann. The director, Bob Matina. Coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Steve Karasik. The associate directors of today's games are Ryan Galvin and Alana Campbell. Our broadcast associates, Brian Jagoda and Gareth Hughes, and our technical manager is Jim Baker. The technical director is Dennis Stone, and the audio supervisor, Kevin Little. And our stats provided by Joe Castellano and a Quesnayar spotter, Mike Gluck. And here come the Jets and Danny Woodhead across the 25.
This game cannot end quickly enough for the Oakland Raiders if they're going to start giving up long runs to Danny Woodhead. And it'll be an interesting week. Now Tom Cable's going to have a decision. What's he going to do with Jamarcus Russell? This is just a colossally disappointing performance after all the feel-good stuff that happened last week with that upset of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think this is going to be for Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach of the Jets, who was the former head coach of the Raiders, took them to a Super Bowl. And
welcome back, Mr. Bill.
Yeah. What a nice moment that is, that the guys thought of him. And when's the last time you saw a head coach involved in an ice water bath for an assistant?
And one of the really good people around the National Football League as this game winds to a close as the final 6 seconds tick away. New York Jets 97. They scored 38 points at Seattle. They win this one 38-0. Coming up next, 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, Three Rivers, and Cold Case. For Dan Dierdorff and the rest of our crew here in Oakland, Greg Gumbel saying so long. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.